Welcome to Happy Crappy Paints, the first part of the locked character series. If you have not unlocked this character and do not want any spoilers, stop the video now. This character is the Plague Herald, and this is what it's going to look like when we're done. Here are the paints we're going to use, assemble them and come back. I'm going to start with a white primer. We're using Warboss Green as the base color for the green glowing parts of the cloak. This was a difficult miniature to paint, not because it lacked details or anything, it's more the opposite actually, that a lot of the details were very hard to understand or figure out what they were. If they belong to the cloak or the green parts or the tentacles or whatever he has. It was very difficult. Decided to use Mournfang Brown as the base brown for the leather. I've started to use a different video editing software here, so I'm learning it still. So you will see, or maybe notice that I'm not speeding up the video as I used to, and also the transitions might look a little different. I'm still getting the hang of it, and this is one of the reasons why I haven't posted a video in a while. I haven't had the patience or the inclinations to start to use a different software than Movie Maker. I used to do all my previous videos in Movie Maker, and after that software was discontinued by Microsoft, I've experimented with a couple of different others video softwares, and ended up now with Adobe Premiere Pro. I also have a new camera. I used to record my videos with my iPhone. Now I have an Android phone, and the video camera is actually a lot better, but I had some trouble with the autofocus. You will notice that later in the video. Using Eshin Grey for the tentacles, for his hands and legs or whatever you call them, and also the tentacles coming out of his face. progress shot of where we are so far with the base colors before we move on to the washes, starting with Agrax Earthshade for the leather. The next wash is Nuln Oil. I'm going to use that on the rest of his cape. Struggling with the focus of the video feed here. I actually knocked out the wash, as you can see here. Very, very annoying. This little thing here was a lifesaver, sucking the wash back up again and put it back into the bottle. It's actually something that I saved from having cats and giving medicine to the cats. I save those little things, which is just a medicine dispenser for the cats. So this is what the model will look like after applying the Nuln Oil to the top parts of his cape. Moving on to Waywatcher Green, which we're going to add to the green portions of his cloak, trying to make them, or make it look like it's glowing, or that little weird magic type thing that a lot of the models in Gloomhaven use. And then after that, Skrag Brown to highlight the leather. You could actually add a second highlight. Skrag Brown, as it dries, becomes a little darker than I thought. So add some white to Skrag Brown if you like, and go back and add a second highlight if you wish. I didn't do that, but I wish that I did, because to make the leather pop a little extra. Administratum Grey is the highlight color for the cloak. Going to use white scar a little bit later, so be a little bit generous with the light grey, because you're going to go and add white, pure white, to some of the areas a little bit later. Another progress shot to where we are so far. Also add a little bit of Administratum Grey to the face mask. Again, we're going to highlight it with more white in a bit. Skarsnik Green to highlight the green parts of the cloak. Almost all video clips are played back at 200% speed instead of 400% that I used in my previous clips. Let me know if you think this is worse or better. Next up is highlighting with white scar. Go light in the beginning with white scar, and as you add white, pause, have a look, and then continue adding until you have a little bit of white to the top part of all of the cloak, and also around the edges of the holes in his cloak, to bring the contrast between the darker holes and the recesses and the top parts. Don't be afraid to add white so that it looks white. You're going to view the model from a distance anyway, and it's going to look better if there is a contrast between the light and the dark areas. I'm actually being quite conservative with the white highlight here. If you're bold, you could add more white highlight than I do. The mask is actually not that easy to highlight back up again. I really like the little cracks at the top part of the mask, and highlighting it with white there made it so that you almost hid those cracks. So be careful there. Using almost like a bright brush technique now for the tentacle parts, I wanted to highlight or brighten up areas of the tentacles so that I can apply a wash, and I debated between a blue or purple wash, the Drakenhof Nightshade, or the Druchii Violet for the tentacles, and in the end I chose purple, but you can do blue or even Fuegan Orange if you want to do a little bit of a red tentacle instead. Here you can see I'm struggling with the focus of the camera, so I don't have really good footage of when I'm actually applying the wash here. I have some more in-focus footage soon. But here you can see what the purple looks like. But you could absolutely do Fuegan Orange or blue. Runefang Steel for the belt and the belt buckles and for the bag. Again, had a hard time with the focus of the camera. Karak Stone for the rock that he's standing on. I decided to go with a brown stone rather than a grey, to make sure that the stone actually stands out from the grey and purple tentacles of the miniature. So the base color for the stone, I decided to use Karak Stone. Then after that had dried, apply Agrax Earthshade to dirty it down. And this also takes quite some time for it to dry, but after that dried, I dry brushed Ushabti Bone to the top to bring in some highlights of the stone. Now we're almost done. We have the rest of the base to paint black, and then also the jewelry on his shoulder to paint. But the jewelry we're going to do after we've applied a coat, a matte varnish coat on it to protect the miniature. So we're going to add the jewelry, the red jewelry, and also some ard coat to the tentacles to make the tentacles look wet. I decided to use the Spirit Stone Red, which is a jewelry type technical color that from Games Workshop. You can use other types of colors if you wish, and then just ard coat over it to make it shine. Ard coat on the tentacles from his face and also from his arms and his legs to make them look wet and glistening at all times. And that's it, really. I'm not super happy with the end result on this mini, mainly because I had a hard time figuring out what was what on it, but it turned out alright. Thanks for watching. Bye.